Considering police and local authorities, and government for that matter, was so intent on hiding what was going on in Rochdale for so many years, allowing so many hundreds or thousands of children to be abused right under their noses, and in some cases facilitating the abuse, allegedly, with hardly anyone held to account for the massive, unprecedented failure on behalf of children's safeguarding, I'm surprised to see that some victims of Greater Manchester Police's failures have received an apology, for what it's worth, and what's said to be a substantial payout. Now, I say some because it's reported that just 3 victims of Greater Manchester Police's incompetence, who were abused by Rochdale grooming gangs, have received the pointless apology and the payout, after the Chief Constable admitted their failures. Shocking. Chief Constable Stephen Watson met the 3 victims at Greater Manchester Police's headquarters on Tuesday, April the 12th, where he gave an in-person apology for the police failings in their cases. Watson also apologised for his predecessor's errors in not investigating the abusers, a culture which happened under the previous Chief Constables, including Sir Peter Fahy. He told the women, "It is a matter of profound personal regret that your childhood was so cruelly word salad warning. It is a matter of profound personal regret that your childhood was so cruelly impacted by the dreadful experiences which you endured. Greater Manchester Police could and should have done much more to protect you, and we let you down." Now, something I've only just found out is that one of the women, who when she was 13 years old, was actually impregnated by one of the abusers. She went on to have an abortion, and the police took the deceased fetus as evidence, without informing her, without informing her mother, or without informing any other responsible person. Another of the 3 women, when still a child in 2006, was punched in the face by one of her abusers and called a white slag outside a pizza shop in Rochdale, but she herself was the one arrested for harassment. On one occasion, she was picked up by Greater Manchester Police officers on the moors, miles outside Manchester. She had told a man that she did not want to sleep with him, and he had taken her coat, thrown orange juice over her, and left her to walk home with no socks or shoes on. Police drove her home and told her that they could not do anything because they did not have the man's name. Later, police were called after she had been burnt repeatedly with a heated spoon when she refused to comply with the demands of a group of adult men. When interviewed by police, she was accused of inflicting the wounds on herself and arrested for disorderly behaviour. Her claim against Greater Manchester Police stated that she was treated as a perpetrator and not a victim. After the meeting on Tuesday, she said, "I don't know if I believe that Greater Manchester Police have really changed their ways as they say they have, but I'm happy that they've taken into account their failings and there's finally been some accountability." But there hasn't been any accountability. Saying sorry is not making people accountable. The women, backed by lawyers from the Centre for Women's Justice, brought a legal claim against Greater Manchester Police that said, according to legal documents, that from the early 2000s there was growing evidence from multiple allegations that gangs of predominantly Asian men were grooming, trafficking and sexually abusing predominantly white working class girls in Rochdale. Lawyers for the 3 successfully argued their human rights were breached by Greater Manchester Police failing to protect them by putting a stop to the abuse. This included failing to record crimes, investigate offenders, collect intelligence, or charge and prosecute abusers. Though the abuse was happening in plain sight, a police operation to tackle the gangs was closed down abruptly in 2004, despite police and social services having the names of the men involved and the names of their victims. 8 years later, following a second police investigation, Operation Span, 9 men were convicted for sexual exploitation of children in Rochdale. 9 men. 9 men. I suppose Greater Manchester Police assumed that 9 men were responsible for the 1,400 plus children that were abused. The full Greater Manchester Police word salad said, "Today is not about Greater Manchester Police, but about those victims who in the past have been let down when they needed our help in the most traumatic and horrific circumstances. I have now personally delivered my apology to some of these victims for the failings Greater Manchester Police had in its contact with those who suffered child
I have difficulty formulating my words.
Child sexual exploitation in Rochdale. It is a matter of profound personal regret that the childhoods of these victims were so cruelly impacted by the dreadful experiences they endured. Greater Manchester Police could and should have done much more to protect them. The failings of our past into child sexual exploitation are well known, and thankfully there is today a far better understanding of child sexual exploitation than there was before the Operation Span trial in May 2012, and we are committed to leaving no stone unturned to bring these offenders to justice, no matter the passage of time, through our dedicated force Child Sexual Exploitation Unit. We will strive to keep improving our responses to similarly horrible circumstances to prevent the same from happening in the first instance, and relentlessly pursuing perpetrators so that they can be held fully to account. I hope that my apology and commitment to rectifying the poor practices of the past will provide some little comfort to those we failed. We have also agreed with the recipients to publish my apologies in full on our website. So they've admitted to the failures, but there's no talk about holding anybody to account. Children's lives ruined forever. And yet when it comes down to it, it seems more people are concerned about people smacking their kids' arse to teach them a lesson. Just goes to show the kind of things that get prioritised by the great British public. Big thank you to channel supporters, especially these guys. Your support is truly appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. And until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.